Senate to hold executive briefing on U.S. airstrikes in Sokoto as Ningi queries alleged North exclusion. Police fire tear gas as protesters storm Lagos Assembly over demolitions. Bandits kill 3 police officers, injure 2 in Katsina ambush. On the foreign scene, Uganda court releases prominent rights activist on bail. Good evening, this is News Update on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. We'll start off with happenings on the floor of the Red Chamber. Now, the Nigerian Senate has scheduled a closed-door session to discuss an alleged breach of Nigeria's territorial integrity linked to a December United States military strike on Nigerian soil, raising concerns about constitutional oversight and national security. Here's more.
The issue was raised on the Senate floor on Wednesday through a point of order by Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central, who spoke on the matters of privilege. Senator Ningi criticized the reported U.S. strike in Sokoto State on Christmas Day, describing it as audacious and highlighting that Nigerian legislators were not briefed on the operation despite it taking place within the country.
Times in December, the United States of America, via its military, took a hit into Nigerian territory, which is a complete violation of this document, which you also to protect, which is a complete breach of the United Nations Charter. Executive Act, but the legislature must talk. In spite of the good intention of the American military, in spite of whatever achievement that the hit made, Mr. President, if we continue to say that the National Assembly that is vested with these powers under Part 4 and will remain mum.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio acknowledged the seriousness of concern, but emphasized that national security matters are not suitable for open debate in the chamber.
I've read the Section 9, I understand it, and I was about to let you know that your privilege has not yet been breached. If you can allow me, I can explain. Yesterday, because it's a matter of security, we really should not discuss it in the open. We should have a closed session so that you will be well briefed.
The closed-door session will allow senators to review the matter in detail while ensuring sensitive security information remains protected.
Still in the Senate, it has deferred consideration of the Electoral Act 2022 repeal and enactment bill 2026, opting to reconvene in an executive session to scrutinize the proposed legislation before taking a final decision. The decision came after deliberations on the report of the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters held in the absence of committee chairman Senator Simon Lalong. Lawmakers agreed to step down debate to allow time for detailed study, with consideration now expected to resume on Thursday. An executive session will also provide a forum for closed-door discussions on sensitive aspects of the reforms, while the House of Representatives has already passed the bill. Senate President Godswill Akpabio stressed the need for thorough scrutiny, given its implications for Nigeria's electoral process. The committee says enacting the bill will promote electoral integrity, enhance transparency, expand voter participation, and strengthen INEC's capacity, leaving Nigerians with a lasting legacy of credible elections. Protesters drawn from civil society organizations on Wednesday marched to the National Assembly, urging the Senate to immediately pass the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025. The demonstrators, carrying placards with messages such as "No more delay," "Pass the bill now," and "Electoral reform now," warned that further delay could undermine preparations for the 2027 general elections. They described the bill as critical to ensuring free, fair and credible polls, calling on lawmakers not to alter its contents but to pass it without delay. Executive Director of the Kimpact Initiative, Bukola Idowu, said the protest was aimed at mounting pressure on the Senate, stressing that delays could negatively affect the independent National Electoral Commission's planning for the 2027 elections.
Even talking about and they are supposed to give 1 year notice of election because the law says they are supposed to give law the notice 365 days of the election. All these things are being stopped, and now the National Assembly, the Senate went on a prolonged break, and they come and we thought they are going to make this as a matter of national importance. And then yesterday they didn't even consider it, and there is no indication that they are going to consider it before Friday. So, and that's why we are here today, calling on civil society to come and everybody's Nigerian citizen to call on the Nigerian Senate to pass the bill now.
It is important that we come to make this demand, and it is simple, it's not ambiguous. Unless there is mischief on the part of politicians, is there any democracy without free and fair elections? That is the foundation of every democracy, because it is the first means of holding leaders accountable. Without free and fair elections, there is incentive for reward and reward for criminality and corruption. So anyhow bad you are, your confidence is in a corrupt electoral process where you can rig yourself and impose on the people. We want people to vote and let their votes count. People, they have military coups in African countries. In some countries, nobody will die. In Nigeria, during democratic elections, people die. Why? If this bill is not ready by February, it is already late. INEC will have to use the old 2022 Electoral Act that gave us glitches in 2023.
Still staying with protest-related matters, over in Lagos State, police fired tear gas at protesters at the Lagos State House of Assembly in Alausa, Ikeja on Wednesday amid demonstrations against forced evictions and home demolitions. Protesters had gathered at the Assembly complex demanding an end to demolitions in communities across Lagos State. The release of tear gas caused panic, forcing demonstrators, residents, traders and commuters to flee in different directions. The situation disrupted movement around the complex with security personnel maintaining a heavy presence. By the time of reporting, the protest had been temporarily dispersed, though tensions remain high. Authorities continue to monitor the area as calls for dialogue and resolution persist. On a sad note, at least 3 police officers have been killed and 2 others injured in an ambush by suspected armed bandits in Katsina State. The incident occurred on Tuesday, January 27th at around 12:44 p.m. as a police team conducted a routine anti-crime patrol in Guga village, Bakuri local government area. Those killed are ASP Abubakar Ibrahim, Inspector Umar Ahmad, and Sergeant Kilaini Kabir, while Corporals Abdulaziz Sani and Daniel Jaffet sustained injuries. According to security sources, the officers were responding to an attack by hoodlums when they came under sporadic gunfire. The Katsina State Police Command confirmed the attack, noting that the injured officers were rushed to the hospital and are receiving treatment. Investigations are ongoing to apprehend the perpetrators, with further updates expected in the coming days. At least 2 farmers have been killed and several others, including children, injured following an aerial attack on Kurugiv community in Mariga local government area of Niger State. Residents told Trust TV that a surveillance helicopter believed to belong to the Nigerian Air Force hovered over the community for several minutes on Sunday before opening fire on people going about their daily activities. The gunshots reportedly hit residents within their homes, with children among those injured. A community member, Suleiman Sanusi, said the incident has triggered fear and panic, forcing many residents to flee to Bangi town and other nearby areas for safety. He described the attack as unprovoked and called on authorities to urgently investigate the incident and provide medical care for the injured. As of the time of this report, the Nigerian Air Force and other security agencies have not issued an official response. Over in Anambra State, the governor, Kwankwaso, has slammed traders in Onitsha main market over continued Monday closures, calling claims of insecurity delusional. The governor said the sit-at-home order ended in 2023 and described the failure to open shops as economic sabotage. Soludo argued that if markets and other insecure areas remain open, Onitsha, with over 150 security personnel, should too. He added that traders who use streets or the stadium on Mondays could also open their shops, stressing that the closures undermine the local economy. Soludo vowed strict enforcement to boost trading and protect jobs in the state.
It is about the future of our children. It is about the future of that poor woman on the street who has to hawk something on Monday to earn a living. It is about being able to have investors who are already flooding in to have the comfort that they have a full work week. It is about our prosperity. It is about our security. Because if you deny 20% of the work days in a year, you are dampening our prosperity. Jobs that need to be created. Incomes that need to be earned. That's what this is about. And it should be simple enough to be understood by everybody. 2024, 2025 will be very patient, pleading. 2022, 2023, we are busy fighting all of this. 2026, we are turning on gear 4. Anybody that closes any of it will help you close it for the next week.
On political matters, former NNPP presidential candidate Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso says Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf will regret leaving the party. Kwankwaso was speaking after Governor Yusuf officially defected to the APC on January 26, 2026, less than 3 years after winning the Kano governorship on the NNPP platform. The former governor described Yusuf's exit as surprising and unnecessary, insisting that the issues he cited could have been resolved through dialogue. Kwankwaso also dismissed claims of internal crisis in the NNPP, saying no party is completely free of grievances and urging members to remain within the Kwankwaso movement. He warned that Yusuf and his associates would face serious political challenges in the APC and expressed confidence that the NNPP and Kwankwaso ideology would continue to shape politics in Kano. Kwankwaso's influence remains strong in northern Nigeria, particularly among young supporters of the red-capped Kwankwaso movement. Still staying in Kano State, the governor Abba Yusuf has approved a new round of appointments and promotions across key sectors of the state. He announced on Wednesday by the governor's spokesman, the appointments include Abdul Kadir Kankarofi, a special advisor on humanitarian affairs, and Aisha, a special advisor on positive propaganda. In the water sector, Engineer Mukhtar Yusuf was promoted to Managing Director of the Water Resources Engineering and Construction Agency, while Zakari Balin takes over as Deputy Managing Director. Mukhtar Sudan has been named Executive Secretary of the Kano State Scholarship Board, and Engineer Abba Kankarofi promoted to Managing Director of the Kano Road and Maintenance Agency. Now, Governor Yusuf urged all appointees to demonstrate dedication, transparency, and commitment to the people, emphasizing his administration's focus on strengthening institutions and delivering people-oriented governance under the Kano First agenda. You're still on to News Update on Trust TV. When we return from the break, we'll take a look at rising youth violence sparking concern in Taraba State. Just stay with us, the news continues. Welcome back, thank you for staying with us. Now a recap of our top stories. We told you that Senate to hold executive briefing on United States airstrikes in Sokoto as Ningi queries alleged National Assembly exclusion. We also told you the police fired tear gas as protesters stormed Lagos Assembly over demolitions. Now to more stories. There is a growing concern over rising cases of violent and criminal behavior among children and youths in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital. Residents who spoke with Trust TV say incidents of children carrying weapons, stealing and engaging in street fights have become increasingly common, posing challenges for security agencies. While some blame poor parental guidance, others say teachers, community leaders and government must also take responsibility in addressing the trend. Here's more. Reports from several communities in Jalingo indicate a rise in crimes involving children and youths. Young people are frequently seen carrying knives, snatching bags and engaging in street fights, developments that have heightened fear among residents and raised concerns about the moral direction of the younger generation. Some residents blame parents, insisting that no one is closer to children than their parents.
We have problem. The problem is we have tried to adopt a culture that is not ours. You understand? So people, the children are are introduced to handsets, social media, and several other areas. And these are things that bring about moral decadence. And again, even the parents who are not helping matters.
You are talking of the moral decay in society. I think first of all, you look at the child, where is he coming from, the home is coming from. So that the government of Abu Kefas has declared free and compulsory education doesn't take away the vices we've been experiencing in the society. This is as a result of the background most of these children are coming from. So the parents are not happy. Most parents are not helping matters. Most parents contributed to the ill attitude of their children.
Mrs. Chinyere said many parents no longer monitor their children's activities, which she believes is a major contributor to the problem. She urged parents to pay attention to the type of friends their children associate with.
The parents are the more important people to our children because they are the ones that will give our children the training that they deserve. When you train your children well, they will not disgrace you outside. And when you see them outside, you'll be proud of them.
The vice principal of Government Model Secondary School Jalingo said one of the major causes is that some parents allow children to make decisions for themselves without proper guidance. While stressing that parents must insist on what is right and discourage immoral behavior, she added that teachers are doing their best to impact moral values and knowledge to students and should not be blamed for the situation.
The issue of parents blaming teachers on the behaviors of their children, I don't think parents have done justice to teachers. Teachers have taken their time, sleepless night, planning lessons for their children. You will see a child coming from home already with the character he had already. So you don't expect a teacher to change a child in a day. Had even parents who help teachers to curtail those behaviors that children are coming in with it will help.
Religious leaders say the problem cannot be blamed on parents alone, as responsibility must be shared among parents, government and society. They called on the government to introduce programs that will positively engage young people, warning that failure to do so could create serious challenges in the future. They also urged children to avoid criminal activities and negative influences.
If the government should improve education system and create jobs, there should be no unemployment. Where there is unemployment, let them be skill acquisition centers adequately. And then where this skill acquisition is developed, there are going to be a support. You train him a skill. He has no means of practicing the skills he is taught. What are we going to do? He will just do skill to develop something contrary.
Looking at the moral decadence of our time, there are many factors involved. It is said that charity begins at home. It's going to be very wrong for us parents to push the responsibility that God has given us. It is a responsibility. The Bible said, train up a child in the way that he should go, and if he grows, he will not depart from it. There are parents who so much love their children that they refuse to train them. A child will do what is wrong, and the parent will say, okay, my daughter, I love you, my son, I love you. They pet them and spoil them.
Legal practitioner Issa Buba also highlighted the legal perspective on the issue, saying the Constitution places the primary responsibility of care and guidance on parents, while maintaining the government to protect children and support their development.
In a situations whereby a person of a very tender age engages in criminal activities, the law is very clear. If the child is below the age of criminal responsibility, then the law also provides the kind of action to be taken. And if is above the age of criminal responsibility, then the law will take its full course.
Community members agree that stronger parenting, effective government support, and active community involvement are seen as key to addressing the growing challenge of youth and child violence in Jalingo. Community engagement through civil-military relations has been described as a cornerstone in the fight against insecurity in Nigeria. This was highlighted during the celebration of West African Social Activities WASA 2025 by the Nigerian Army's 33 Artillery Brigade at Shadawanka Barracks, Bauchi. This year's event featured cultural displays by students, artists, and drama groups. Our reporter in the state, Adamu Imam, tells us more.
The WASA celebration drew a large crowd, including visitors, host community members, old and current service personnel, and their families. Spectators were treated to impressive performances as group dancers dominated the occasion. At the end of the festivities, the commander of the 33 Artillery Brigade, Brigadier General UG Simon, told journalists that the military's success in tackling insecurity relies heavily on the support and cooperation of community members.
A long-age event that has its origin during the colonial era when we have the West African Frontier Force. It's a forum where our military men, their families are able to interact with the local populace and with their host communities. It also affords us time to be able to unwind, relate to the families, and as well as with our civilian counterparts.
Earlier, the state government commended the military for their efforts in dislodging various security threats in northern Nigeria, despite ongoing challenges.
Judging by the brilliant displays of the various cultural troops that performed this evening, it is evident that you all have not broken links with your cultural backgrounds, and therefore convinced that the gathering today has been worldwide. And the aim of the West African social activity, which is to prioritize cultural harmony, team spirit, and tolerance among military personnel, has been achieved.
Tonight, all the people. There was a saying that says when you go to Romans, you do as the Romans do. So when you find yourself in a mix of people, you have to associate with them, you have to accommodate them, you have to welcome them.
The event also featured the presentation of certificates honoring deserving servicemen and women, as well as the lighting of a ceremonial campfire, signaling the conclusion of the 2025 WASA activities. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
In the business scene, the Nigerian Naira has appreciated to a record level of about 1,400 Naira to the US dollar at the offshore market during midweek trading. Now, data from the Central Bank of Nigeria shows the currency gained about 1.26% on Tuesday, with the dollar quoted at roughly 1,401 Naira compared with 1,419 Naira recorded the previous day. The marks the strongest performance is the introduction of the electronic foreign exchange margin system, continuing the appreciation trend since the start of the week. At the parallel markets, the dollar is exchanging between 1,475 and 1,419 Naira, reflecting improved liquidity following recent regulatory reforms by the Apex Bank. Analysts say the Naira's early 2026 gains build on its strong performance in 2025 and project the currency will trade within the range of 1,400 to 1,500 Naira per dollar this year, supported by ongoing macroeconomic reforms and improved foreign exchange inflows. The foreign scene over in East Africa, Ugandan court on Wednesday granted bail to permanent rights activist Sarah Birete, who heads the Center for Constitutional Governance in Kampala. Birete was detained on December 30 after questioning the accuracy of the voter register ahead of Uganda's January 15 general election. She faces charges related to alleged unlawful disclosure of voter information. Magistrate Winnie Nyankajitiko released her on bail, stating she met all requirements for release. Her detention drew criticism from rights groups, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, who accused the government of persecuting her for amplifying marginalized voices. Incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, Africa's third longest ruling leader, secured 71.6% of the vote, while opposition leader Bobby Wine rejected the results and remains in hiding. Critics say Museveni's government has used the military to suppress dissent, claims the administration has denied. And with that, we come to the end of the news at this time. For more of our news, programs and documentaries, do well to follow us on social media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us at this time. Good evening.